Hi everybody, Kevin here. Welcome back to the Claremont Classic Garage. We haven't got too much going on today. We're still waiting on stuff. But in the meantime, I've got a few leftover odd jobs and little things I want to look after. Now we got this neat old Tony Stewart license plate that somebody gave me. We'll hang it up there beside that red sign. Well, that was a pretty easy job. He's up there with these two guys. There's guys that I've followed for many years. The Iron Man Gary Elliott and Bob Merrifield, one of the pioneers of the Chrysler kit car program back in the 70s. Both still racing. Gary Elliott started racing in the 60s. Can you imagine that? Now we'll hang up this thermometer. I'm just not sure where I'm going to hang it up. I found a nice safe place for it between the wall switch and the phone so it won't get knocked and I can see it easily. Here's the next thing I did. The other day my friend Nick brought me some old Ford parts that he had kicking around. Among it was this pair of Ford strut rods out of who knows what. But anyway, I couldn't use them for anything, but I could see the usefulness in them, so what I did was I cut the ends off and I made a couple of great big punches. One for me and one for Nick. Nick is a pretty good guy. I've known him a long time. You should go check out his YouTube channel. He hacks around in his garage a lot. He's working on some pretty cool projects. I'll put a link in the description box down below so you can find his channel. Aren't they snazzy? Okay, I gotta let that dry so I can flip them over and paint the other side. In the meantime, we'll work on something else. Now I've got these four wheels. I'll show you what they're for. This is the old toolbox I keep all my bodywork stuff in. Now, it's kind of tall, which makes it a little tippy. And what makes it worse is you can see how the wheels are mounted on it. The back wheels are in. Look how far in they are from the edge. So the thing always wants to tip over backward, you know. Like just pushing in a drawer too hard and it wants to go. So I'm going to put those larger wheels on and move them right out here to the edge. And that should make it a lot more stable. What I would like to do eventually is get a normal thickness toolbox to sit those top two cabinets on. This box is not very deep, and that doesn't help at all. So let's get this thing upside down. That's a lot better. So I can stand it back up now and put all the stuff back in it. That's sitting pretty now, and it really is unbelievable how much more stable it is. That's perfect. So we can park that and call that another job well done. All right, so this is pretty easy to do. You don't need too much trick equipment. You need a little bit of soapy water. We've got that here. You need I don't know, I call it a stripe squeegee. Or just a good Bondo spreader would work too. So, what we're going to do first is put a little soapy water here where we want our decal to end up. Then we peel off the backing, but leave this paper. Now, because we've put the water on, it'll let us kind of move this around a little bit while we get it level and exactly where we want it. I mean, these things were never level when they were made, so that's pretty good. So once you got it where you want it, you get your stripe squeegee, and you just squeegee the water out. Just like that. And as tempting as it is to pull that backing off right away, we don't. We just leave it there and let it dry for a while. And then we'll be able to peel that off. And it'll be beautiful. This works the same if you're putting the stripes on an old muscle car or a boat or restriping your RV. That's how you put this on. It's pretty simple. And this way, what you're doing with this is you're working air bubbles out. It's not such a big issue on small decals like this, but on larger ones, it is a big issue. Like if you're putting the numbers on a race car or something like that. Anyway, that's pretty good. We're going to move to the snowblower now. So this snowblower takes a lot of decals, and this was the only one that came with the paper on the back. The rest of them don't. So it's basically the same procedure to put these ones on. I wet it first, but I don't want to run the squeegee. I don't want to run the squeegee over; it'll scratch it. So I just buff it down with my wax taker offer cloth, and that works just fine. So we're going to go and put all these ones on now. Oh, they all went on nicely. That's good. So it's all decaled up now like it's supposed to. And there's the one on the blade. It's hard to see. Oh, there we go. There's the one on the blade. The sun is so bright shining in here. Well, now we're going to have a go at this vise and see if we can figure out what the heck is wrong with it. See what happens. It's got a lot of free play. So now it's tight. Look what happens when you try to open it. 1 full turn. 2 full turns, 3 full turns, 4 full turns, and on the 5th full turn, it starts to open. So something is obviously, you can see here, it's got a lot of end play on the screw. See how far it comes out? That's no good. So we're going to unbolt it from the bench, flip it over, and see what we can find out. I guess now I got to get it separated from the swivel base. That doesn't look too complicated. A carriage bolt and a bolt. Well, that revealed nothing. I got to go ahead and see if I can unscrew this jaw right the heck out of here. Oh, that came right out. I wonder what's in here. Oh, here we go. So this is the business end of it. You can see the back of it's busted out. So this this bolt that goes up through is what holds this. And, well, obviously it's broken. And there's a problem here. Here's why we've got so much play when we open and close it. So we could take that apart and put a bigger spring in there, and that'll solve that problem. Well, we might be able to fix this yet. First job, I'm going to take everything outside and power wash it all. The problem in here in the screw was pretty simple. This here snap ring should have been in this groove, and it had somehow migrated back to here. We're going to try and get that all back together. That'll be our first step. Perfect! That's all back together. I had a couple of little struggles with the snap ring because it trying to get it over this screw, it kept getting stretched, but I finally got it closed up and got it wound on and in there. We're all set. This thing, even though that little piece of it is busted out, it was never a problem because we'd put a longer bolt through it. So I'm not worrying about that right now. I think we can just put this thing back together and it should be as good as new. So far so good. Now we're going to bolt her back down to the bench. Gonna put a little grease on the screw here. And the ways, what do we call these? Then we'll screw her in and see what happens. Now for the moment of truth. Oh, perfect. Awesome. And what else I need to do is I have to tighten the screws on these jaws. That's easy enough. Open her up, get a stubby screwdriver. I've always liked this vise. I picked this vise out of a scrap bin somewhere because that thing in there was broken. And I saw when I got in there how I originally fixed it with a Healy coil and a longer bolt. And this thing has lasted me Oh gosh, probably about 25 years now. It's a good vise. Now, because I'm on a roll, I'm going to fix up these mangled up old soft jaws so they actually stay on the dang vise when I put them on. That'd be a great improvement also. Perfect. They actually fit now, and they won't fall off every time I open the darn vise. Perfect. These things have been floating around with this vise for a long time, but they never fit right. I don't think they were exactly for this vise. But anyway, they fit now. Here's our next job. When I got this filing cabinet, I just threw some crappy little casters on it so I could roll it around when it was in the way. And I never thought that this would end up sitting on top of it. So what's happened now is the front wheels, the swivel casters, have collapsed. And this thing is always in danger of tipping over. So we've got some more substantial wheels, so we're going to put them on. Now that it's upside down, you can see how it was collapsing. So we'll fix her up. First, we're going to get these old wheels off. We're going to put a wooden base on the bottom of this and then bolt our wheels to that. That'll spread the load. So what we're going to do next, I put these to transfer the weight to the floor and just balance everything out. Then we're going to put this on here. And then our wheels will go on there. Now, my swivel casters are not as tall as my rigids, so I'm also going to put another piece on here to shim them. And then we'll be all set. All right, now I'm going to flip it over and we'll see what it looks like. Now we're going to go ahead and lower the brake lathe back onto the top of it. Well, back to there. Last thing we got to do, I noticed we need a new plug. So we'll see if we've got one in stock and change it. Problem solved. Princess Auto to the rescue again. Next repair job we've got is this little stool. Somebody around the corner threw it in their garbage because it had a broken leg. So we're going to get some glue and a couple of carriage bolts and make it good like new. And to think somebody threw this stool out. What is wrong with people? Next. This thing's been back in service for a couple of days now, so I'm just going to run it up on the ramps and have a fast look underneath. So that's all good. I crawled around underneath it a bit. Didn't find anything out of the ordinary except one tiny little exhaust leak around where we had done that modification of the flex joint. So I just tightened up the clamp a little bit and the leak stopped. So I think we're good to go here. And I'm giving her a clean bill of health. And it's good for everyday use now. Caliber's been out a couple of times since we put it back together, so now it's time to torque the wheels. Just go around, times 20, and we'll be happy. That was good. Everything was fine. Always rewind your torque wrench to 0 before you store it. Don't ever leave it stored wound up. Unless you're lazy and it's the one in your race car trailer and you only ever use it to torque wheels and it's permanently set at 90. But we'll ignore that one for now. Normal ones, we turn them down when we're done with them. Next thing we got to deal with here, we've got a broom with a loose handle. So we're going to have a look at that. I think all I got to do is take this screw out, tighten it, and put the screw back in. And maybe tighten these up a bit. So it's not threaded. It just goes in here on a taper. And it's got a grub screw to hold it. So what I'm going to do to try and hold a little bit, I'm going to give this a squash. And we'll put it all back together and see how it is. Ha! My plan worked. Good like new. Last little job we got to do is hang up this thing. It's a shop air filter system. Craftex. I guess that would mean it's from Busy Bee. My dad had it. He wasn't really using it in his shop anymore, so we're going to try it in my shop. I'm going to put it right there. And here's everything we need to hang it. So I'm going to take a couple of measurements and then start screwing some hooks into the ceiling. So there it is. I had a plug up there already anyway because of the garage door opener. The only thing I have to do is I got to go to the hardware store and get a length of bead chain because this is just a little bit short. Then when I want to put it on, off it goes. And we can filter our messy air. Thing rattles like a can of marbles, but I'm only going to run it when I need it, so hopefully it won't be that annoying. That's a good load of odd jobs done around here. Before you know it, they'll pile up again, so we got to keep on top of them. Anyway, that's it for now. So until next time, thanks for tuning in. We hope to see you again. And this is Kevin checking out from the Claremont Classic Garage. Thanks and so long.